Welcome back. The inaugural Open the Knowledge Journalism Awards has been launched. The awards are open to African journalists to nominate stories that have made an impact in expanding the knowledge of the continent. Nominations opened on the 3rd of May and will close on the 30th of June. And to tell us more, I'm now joined by Anusha Alikhan from the Wikimedia Foundation, who joins us all the way from Miami. Anusha, thank you very much for joining us here on eNCA. We appreciate your time and your insights. Very exciting awards ceremony that's happening, and African journalists are invited this time around. Just talk to us about the Open the Knowledge Journalism Awards and what it's all about.
Absolutely. So the Wikimedia Foundation is the nonprofit that hosts Wikipedia and 12 other knowledge projects. And we have a mission to ensure that everyone everywhere can access and share free knowledge. Wikipedia itself is a free encyclopedia, and it's also one of the most visited websites in the world. So our goal is to reflect the world's knowledge. And the awards itself are part of the Foundation's Open the Knowledge Initiative, which is a call for everyone to promote what we call radical knowledge equity. Our knowledge equity work really recognizes that if our projects are going to reflect the world, they have to be a living record of all people's history and their stories and their contexts. Wikipedia itself has some really big gaps in the knowledge on the site. Only 15% of the articles on Wikipedia are about Africa. So for the most part, these gaps are because of biases in our wider media ecosystem. Wikipedia's volunteer editors rely on outside sources, and that includes reliable news sources for their content. So we're really launching these awards in collaboration with our volunteers in the region because they're an effort to help draw attention to the knowledge gaps that exist in Wikipedia on Africa. And we're also able to celebrate the contributions of African journalists whose reporting is helping to close the gaps.
Let's talk a little bit and expand a little bit more on that gap in the knowledge of Africa on websites and on Wikipedia. You mentioned the percentage. What are some of the other things that we can do besides having more inclusion when it comes to African journalists and making sure that people know more about Africa? I mean, very often when we hear people from outside the continent speak about Africa, they seem to know very little, I must say. So how do we make sure that people are well informed?
Absolutely. So, as I said, Wikipedia relies on secondary sources of information for its content. So if you notice on any Wikipedia article, there's usually a list of sources that you see at the bottom of every article. And that is research and publications and news articles that meet Wikipedia's what we call reliability criteria and can support what is said in the article. So journalists, as well as researchers, people, they play a crucial role in contributing to that body of knowledge. And they create news articles that help to spark or improve knowledge on various topics, from Nelson Mandela to Boboti. The stories that journalists decide to focus on really tell and make possible more and richer content on Wikipedia. And we also really encourage regular South African people to join our movement and become volunteers on Wikipedia as well.
So is this the first time that African journalists will be included in this award? If yes, what sort of journalists are you hoping will submit and nominate themselves?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the very first time we are launching this awards ever. So, and it's the first time, and Africa is the first content that we've chosen to host in because we recognize that the knowledge gaps in Africa are quite large. Submissions are going to be accepted for articles written by African journalists that are specifically focused on Africa. And as you said at the beginning, we're asking journalists to submit an article that they've published between January 1st, 2022 and June 23rd, 2023. And what we're looking at is articles that are focused on several categories of work about the African continent. And that could be anything from arts and culture and sports and heritage to health and climate change and the environment, and also women and youth and digital and human rights, because we recognize that's a big area for closing knowledge gaps as well.
And then with regards to how someone nominates themselves, it's a self-nomination process. What exactly is the process? How do people nominate themselves? And then also, what is the process, what does the process involve when actually selecting a winner? And are there any prizes involved here?
Yes, of course. So between May 3rd and June 30th, 2023, we're asking journalists to submit an article of theirs. It's self-submission that has been published in a reliable media outlet, and they match the topics that I just mentioned. And submissions can be made on Wikimedia Foundation's website at wikimediafoundation.org/journalism-awards. We are going to be announcing the winning article in November 2023 at our annual Africa Community Conference, which we call Wiki-Indaba. And there's going to be 2 awards. The first place recipient's going to receive $2,000 and is also going to be invited to attend Wiki-Indaba in Morocco, and they'll accept the award there. And the second place recipient is going to receive $1,500 and also a certificate of recognition. And we are also going to be giving 4 other outstanding nominees special mentions on our website and in our promotions of the awards.
Just lastly, Anusha, I mean, it sounds amazing. You know, I would love to enter myself because the prizes are sounding absolutely amazing. So it's going to be a huge opportunity for all of those journalists who do submit their work. But I wanted to chat about something that I read in what you sent me, is that there's a huge focus for your organization on African journalists that prioritize diversity, equity, and inclusion in their reporting. Let's just talk about why that is so important for your organization.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as we were talking about in the beginning, there's so many knowledge gaps that exist on Wikipedia about Africa. And, only 2% of the geotag content on Wikipedia is about the entire content. And even though Africa has almost twice the population of Europe, it's only 15% of the articles. So we're really focused on closing these knowledge equity gaps because one of our strategic pillars is also knowledge equity, which means that we want to focus on communities that have been left out of systems of power and privilege and really elevate untold and unseen stories. So journalists that are telling stories about populations essentially that have been vastly ignored by other mainstream media and even research and other documentation are definitely being prioritized as part of these projects.
Anusha, just before I let you go, if you could kindly just repeat that link where journalists can self-nominate, and also just let us know if there are any social media pages where people can seek further information.
Absolutely. So the social media link is wikimedia.org/journalism-awards. And it's also featured on our homepage. So if you go to wikimedia.org, you'll see it up front and center. And our social media is, of course, highlighting the contest in a big way until the close date on the 30th of June. And our typical handles on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook are at Wikimedia and at Wikipedia.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Anusha, for joining us. We really appreciate your time and your insights. And I look forward to all of the African journalists who will be self-nominating. Thank you very much for joining us. That was Anusha Alikhan from the Wikimedia Foundation chatting to us about a very exciting award ceremony that's taking place in the world of journalism. That is the Open the Knowledge Journalism Awards. And African journalists are invited to self-nominate. So if this is something that you are interested in doing, then head over to those social media pages.